Joining me this morning, an old friend of mine, Dave Simpson, and his wife, and his son. I don't know what you're Dave too?
No, Neil.
Neil, okay.
And Pam.
And Pam. And I go back with the Legeza family for a long time. I gotta shut the phone off here, buzzing stuff. And Dave said he wanted to come in because his son is actually doing a project this Sunday, isn't it? Is it this Sunday? Tell us about it, Neil.
Well, we're as a family and as a company here in town is doing a project. We're doing a food drive, specifically utilizing our social network and kind of our we have some unique vehicles that we're going to put on display, and hopefully utilizing some of that to draw attention to the issue of hunger and hunger awareness, and then to attempt to replenish some of the needs of the local food pantry.
That's an excellent idea. And tell us the name of it, because it's quite a name.
Oh, I have the poster here. It's called the Great Peanut Butter and Jelly Jeep Jam, and Neil's company is called Simpson Family Jeeps.
No, I am sorry, I did not know that you had a company in town.
Yeah, so, and that's okay. We have been fairly low-key. We've only been doing full service for about a year now. We do what we would consider to be higher-end customizations, lift kits, tires and wheel packages, engine transmission swaps, unique things like that. And then we also have a large retail base where we do a lot of e-commerce, and we travel throughout this summer doing Jeep-specific shows.
Where are you located?
We're located directly behind State Street Auto at 324 Orange Street, which is also directly behind the Human Resource Center.
Oh, okay. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking then. Now, the premise of this is, PM, that the kids sometimes don't have, lunches or like on the weekends and that sort of stuff. So peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which we all grew up on. If they get that, at least they have something to eat. Correct?
Absolutely, and with peanut butter and jelly, it's something that kids can usually make for themselves at a young age. They don't have to use the stove, they're not cooking, and it's pretty nutritious actually, because peanut butter is pretty nutritious, and if a kid really needs to, they can scoop it out with a spoon and just eat it, but it's good on crackers or toast or bread or anything. So it's just an easy way for kids to be able to grab a sandwich or a snack for themselves if mom and dad aren't around or something like that. And during the school year, of course, our school system and the Human Resources Center, between them, there's a lot of food support for families and children. And in the summer, maybe a little less so. There are programs through the Human Resources Center that provide meals for children, but not everybody's able to take advantage of that. So this is just another way to, the emphasis is to stock peanut butter and jelly so families can easily take that home. However, of course, we're going to take anything, any kind of non-perishable food items that would normally be donated to food pantry. All of those are fair game.
I know Renee said yesterday she would even take bread because she could freeze it to go along with the peanut butter and jelly, for sandwiches. And we talked about it yesterday as well. And then what are the times for this?
We have it from noon to 3. It's this Sunday. It's going to be from noon to 3, and it's going to be right in the Human Resources parking lot. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, our hope is to, the concept is a little bit unique. Our hope is to have a drive-through distribution or collection, actually, and we'll have some unique Jeeps displayed right out along the edge of the road. We'll bring in our show trailer and some vehicles to kind of create an alleyway, and we're going to shepherd people in one of the entrances and have them drive through. You don't have to leave your vehicles. You can bring all of your items. We will receive them out of your vehicles. We're going to stuff them into a kind of a cool Jeep that we own, and for every 2 items that are donated, we're going to give you a raffle ticket for a little incentive program we're hoping to offer. And so ultimately, it's a great opportunity. You don't have to leave your vehicle. We're going to be able to do it rain or shine, because if it is raining, we're going to put up a tent that basically the collection will happen underneath a canopy. The vehicles will pass underneath of it.
We'll have the raffle tickets right on clipboards, hand it right to you in the card, fill it right out.
We want to basically eliminate any obstacles that a person might have if their mobility is limited, or if they just, their time is limited as well. We want to be able to still receive those goods for the food pantry.
Neil, how did you come up with this idea? Obviously, it's a good one because it's the food pantry needs all the help it can get. How did you come up with it?
So my professional background was in the nonprofit industry prior to going full-time with Simpson Family Jeeps. And it is something that I have interest in, or we as a family and a company have interest in reaching out to the community and really trying to improve some of that community pride, as we just heard a few minutes ago. And I've seen other models as far as the drive-through collection work well in other areas, especially small towns. And we talked several months ago about what is a need, because of course we want to address an actual need in the community, and that's why Mom and I actually had an opportunity to speak. And this is an initiative that she was familiar with, and so we kind of bridged a couple ideas together to come up with this one.
I taught in Willoughby Middle School for 24 years. I just recently retired. And
you're too young to retire.
Thank you. I was a advisor for the National Junior Honor Society there, and we're very service oriented. So we are always doing service projects, and there's actually a website called dosomething.org. And that would be an area where I would go to kind of get inspired for community service projects. And they had posted on their website something called the Great Peanut Butter and Jelly Jam. And so we did that at my school with a great success there too.
Okay.
The kids really got behind that. And so when he was casting about for what's a need, what can we do to address that need, I said, well, listen, at our school we tried that. So we kind of married the ideas of what he knew for the drive-through thing with what I'd known from the peanut butter and jelly thing, which the goal of it is stocking the food pantries for summer, and put those together to come up with this.
Are you looking specifically for people to bring peanut butter in jelly?
We would love people to bring peanut butter in, because that's something that's easy for the kids and everything.
Right.
So I mean, we would love. I just thought about it yesterday. I thought, Orlando's is going to have a run on peanut butter. I'm hoping. I'm hoping Orlando's has a run on peanut butter, because so many people are going to bring that, because that's the really nutritious staple. But again, like I said, you can bring soup and macaroni cheese. You're still going to get your raffle tickets. The food pantry still needs those things.
Right.
So we'll take anything.
Now, a lot of people are making homemade jam. Are they allowed to enter that?
That would be a food pantry
You're right, that's
thing,
a
and
food pantry specific question.
Yeah.
We would have to talk to Renee.
You might want to check on that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe let me know, because
Yeah.
I've had people say, well, we made a bunch of strawberry jam,
right.
but I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I would think
I
probably
don't
not.
think.
But
But we'll check on that for you.
hey, I thought maybe David could address. Neil said we're going to jam a specific, unique vehicle, and we didn't really say what it was. Did you?
Oh, we have a 1948 Willys.
Oh, yeah.
Willys Jeep.
Yeah.
It's kind of Neil's flagship. I bought it. My dad bought it. It's actually a replica vehicle. It's not an original, but my dad bought it, and then I bought it off of him, and now it's a flagship of Neil's shop, and it's lifted. It's lifted a few inches. I always like that Tonka toy look.
Yeah,
So it's got big tires on it,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of fun. It's bright red.
No
David, the Willys, was it always, were Willys just Jeeps, or do they have other kinds of brands?
Well, it was Bantam, and in fact, we just got done with the show. Neil just got done with the show in Butler, Pennsylvania. It's a huge show. How many Jeeps this year?
Well, registered, roughly just under 3,000 registered Jeeps, and they stop count usually around 5,000 in the parking lot. So, it's a
And
pretty
so-
substantial gathering.
And Butler, Pennsylvania was where Bantam was out of. And so the Historical Society in Butler, Pennsylvania now puts on this Jeep Festival every year, and Neil has participated in it 5 years.
4 out of the 5.
4 out of the 5 years that it's been going. It's a real neat, but that's where Bantam and Willys came out of, and they got the
Design for the Jeep started.
Right.
Okay.
And Willys did produce a number of vehicles through the 40s and 50s and I suppose early 60s as well, but they were probably most notable for their open top concept of the what we call the CJ2A, which is what we'll have on display.
What amazes me about this, Neil and Dave, is when I was a real little kid, we had a neighbor in the neighborhood that had a Willys vehicle. Now, it's so many years ago, I can't remember
Right.
what it was,
Right.
but I always thought that was a funny name, and I remember it
Right.
always stuck in
Yeah.
my
They
head.
did.
You know?
Yeah.
They made a number of cars and wagons and
And they think it
trucks
was a
and-
car,
Mhm,
you know?
They did.
Okay, so then they just eventually
Limited,
went
limited production run of cars, but
Did
they're-
they just go into business then?
yeah, they merged. It was a series of mergers. I could talk at length about the history of who bought out who and what partnerships had and what lines were sold off. But
So we're talking
the average
50s.
person,
50s for me. That's when I saw this
Right.
vehicle.
right? And ultimately they merged with Kaiser in the
Oh.
late 50s and become Willys Kaiser as a company. And the car line is actually produced elsewhere.
Okay.
And Willys was produced out of Toledo. Of course, our Jeep plants are out of Toledo as well. Jeep is what we actually consider to be a market saturation in this part of the country. We have a lot of heritage. As Dad mentioned, Bantam Car Company was in Butler, PA. They were actually the company that came up with the design for what eventually was the vehicle that won World War II. And unfortunately, Bantam Car Company was such a small company that the government had to award production rights to Willys and Ford to help produce this mass produce this design for our troops. And so it was really a conglomerate attempt to make this vehicle that we now know. But if we look at Ford in Detroit and Willys over in western part of Ohio and Butler, with Bantam, Jeep was really born in this Great Lakes region, and so it's a neat thing to be part of. And our company does fill, like I said, a void of all things Jeep. So we do vintage restorations and vintage parts to new vehicles, lift kits, modifications, engine swaps, so on and so forth. And we'll have some of those vehicles on display.
Okay,
On Sunday.
this Sunday at the Conneaut Human Resource parking lot, and from noon until 3 p.m. And if you can, please bring out any kind of non-perishable good for the food pantry. Specifically, they're talking about peanut butter and jelly, of course. So I think this is a good project, Neil. I wish you well with this. David, before I let you go, I've been announcing your tennis
Excellent, good, yeah.
11 years.
Yeah, 11 years.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah.
Before this happens, could you and Doug come on like you used to in the old days?
Oh, sure. I'll give Doug a call and see. We have a couple of young guys coming up through.
I
Adam
saw
Lytle
some new names on here.
and Zach Rhodes is a new teacher this past year, but a former player of mine. Oh, you have the flyer
He has
right
the
there
flyer.
and everything. And so we're looking forward to it.
Okay, they can sign up now? The
Yes.
kids can sign up?
Yeah, then give us a call. Numbers
Okay.
are on there.
Okay, July 6th through the 10th, weather permitting, and that's always been a factor in this. And it features David and Doug Hedrick, Adam Lytle, and Zach Rhodes. And if you do want to sign up for this, if you're between the ages of 4th grade and 8th grade, the number to call is Coach Simpson, 599-7622, or Doug Hedrick, Coach Hedrick at 593-1566. And we're going to have Doug and Dave back to talk more about this. Just email me, David. We'll
Okay.
set something up. Thank you so much for coming in and explaining this. I've been kind of announcing it, but I really didn't understand what I was doing, so now I know.
Well, we really appreciate the opportunity, and we did want to thank the Conneaut Human Resources Center. Debbie Newcomb and Renee Roach have been great in supporting us. They created the flyers, and distributed flyers, and you know, we know this is the first year, it could be a little bit small, but we want to grow this, and
Sure.
we really appreciate their partnership with us.
It'll grow. It'll grow. Good luck to you, Neil.
Thanks so much.
Okay,
Neil,
thank
David.
you.